Do you feel it? The twilight of your body, quietly descending. After a long day, so full of various challenges and efforts, your body, this most faithful and most hard-working partner of yours, is sending you its most gentle, and also most undeniable, request. It is asking for rest. Now, let us slowly withdraw our consciousness, which is always accustomed to chasing after things externally, from all those memories of the past and all those plans for the future. We are about to embark on a quiet, inward journey. To carefully listen to the wondrous sunset that is quietly happening within our own bodies. First, bring your attention to your feet. To your 10 lovely toes, which have supported your entire day's weight. You can feel a warm, golden energy, like the most gentle tide at dusk, slowly rising from the very depths of the soft bed you are lying on. It gently washes over the tips of your toes. You feel that every single one of your small toes, under the embrace of this warm, golden tide, has completely relaxed. They no longer need to curl slightly to maintain balance. They are just very, very relaxed, resting quietly in their own positions. And then, this warm tide continues to spread upward. It flows over the top of your feet. It flows over the soles of your feet. And it also flows over the arches of your feet, which have also borne a great deal of pressure. You feel all the small bones and tight muscles of your entire feet, under the gentle caress of this warm tide, completely relaxing and softening, joint by joint, inch by inch. This warm tide continues upward. It passes over your flexible ankles, which connect your feet and your lower legs. You feel that the resilient tendons in your ankles, which have been repeatedly used during the day, have also finally let go of all their burdens. And then, your lower legs. You can feel the full contour of your calf muscles at the back of your lower legs. During the day, they provided you with countless bursts of powerful momentum to move forward. And at this moment, they, too, in the embrace of this warm tide, have completely given up all forward impulse. They are just very, very heavily resting on the soft bed beneath you. You can even feel the two long, hard shin bones at the front of your lower legs. They are the important pillars of your entire body. And at this moment, even these most solid pillars seem to be becoming a little soft and relaxed, under the nourishment of this warm tide. This golden tide, named sleepiness, continues upward. It passes over your equally strong and powerful thighs. You feel that the great muscle groups on your thighs, which are responsible for supporting the weight of your entire body, are completely surrendering their control back to that more ancient, and more reliable, gravity of the earth. Your legs have become incredibly heavy. As heavy as two great, waterlogged logs which have just been salvaged from a warm, quiet river. They are so relaxed. So serene. So full of an absolute sense of security, a sense of returning to the embrace of Mother Earth. Now, this warm tide has arrived at the most central, and most important, area of your body. Your torso. It first arrives at your abdomen. You can feel that your breathing, without you even noticing, is becoming deeper and slower. Your abdomen is rising and falling in a very, very gentle, almost imperceptible way, with your rhythmic, wave-like breathing. With every inhalation, it gently swells upward. With every exhalation, it sinks deeper downward, into the soft bed beneath you. You can also feel that the important organs, within your abdominal cavity, which have been diligently digesting food and absorbing nutrients for you all day, have also, at this moment, finally slowed down their work pace. They, too, are resting. And then, your chest. You can feel your powerful heart, which has also tirelessly beaten for you for tens of thousands of times during the day, has now finally returned to its most steady and most serene rhythm. Its steady, powerful beat, like a great, ancient pendulum clock, is conducting the most reliable calibration of time for your long, quiet sleep that is about to come. You can also feel your two lungs, which have also worked so hard all day. At this moment, every expansion and contraction they make seems so soothing, and so full of gratitude. This warm tide continues to flow over your entire, broad back. You can clearly feel your powerful spine, which is like a great, sleeping dragon, with its individual vertebrae. And the powerful, back muscle groups on both sides of it, which have also supported your entire day's activities. All these powerful pillars, which allowed you to stand tall and face all the challenges during the day, have now completely relaxed. You feel your entire back unreservedly entrusting its weight completely to the equally incredibly reliable bed beneath you. This warm, golden tide continues to flow upward, and to the sides. It flows over your shoulders. Your sturdy shoulders, which have borne countless tangible and intangible burdens during the day. You can feel that the most subtle, habitual tensions deep within your shoulder joints are, under the comfort of this warm tide, being completely dissolved and smoothed out, bit by bit. And then, this warm current flows slowly down your arms. Flowing over your upper arms. Flowing over your elbows. Flowing over your wrists. Finally, it arrives at your hands, which have also worked so diligently for you all day. You feel that your 10 nimble fingers, which have written, created, and touched this world for you during the day, have also, at this moment, finally been liberated from all tense, curled states. They are, very, very naturally, slightly uncurling, and resting quietly in their most comfortable positions. Now, there is only one last, and most important, part left. This warm, golden tide has arrived at your neck. And then, it flows upward, into your head, which has been running at high speed all day, the busiest and most tiring part of you. You first feel your jaw, which is a little stiff from a day of talking and chewing, gently, very slightly, relaxing downward. A small, relaxed gap appears between your upper and lower rows of teeth. You feel your equally nimble and powerful tongue also quietly returning to its softest, most comfortable home in your mouth. You feel your soft lips are also just very, very naturally, gently closed. You also feel your entire face, with its rich expressive muscles. The space between your eyebrows, which was slightly furrowed during the day due to concentration or worry. The muscles around your eyes, which were a little tense from staring at glowing screens. All of these are completely smoothed out under the embrace of this warm tide. Your entire face is showing an expression of incomparable serenity, peace, and innocence, like that of a sleeping baby. Finally, this warm, golden tide has arrived at the final destination of its journey. It has arrived at your great brain, which has been engaged in tens of thousands of complex, logical, and emotional thoughts all day. And now, it is time for it to rest as well. Now, just allow your consciousness to rest in this unique tranquility, belonging to the twilight of the body, a tranquility so full of physical relaxation and satisfaction. Feel how that warm, golden tide, named sleepiness, starting from the tips of your toes, spreads upward, inch by inch, and finally, gently envelopes and submerges your entire body. And also feel the silent sigh of gratitude and joy from your faithful body, which has worked so hard all day, after it has finally received the deep rest it has longed for. The pure, physical tranquility, born from the twilight of the body, continues to flow gently within your consciousness. Your entire body feels incredibly heavy, and incredibly soft. But you have not yet truly fallen asleep. Because you can still hear. You can still hear the rhythmic, ticking sound of the old clock in your room. You can still hear the distant, indistinct sounds of the city at night, occasionally carried on the wind from outside your window. And you can still feel. You can still feel the slight weight of the soft blanket covering you. You can still feel the gentle rise and fall of your chest and abdomen, with your steady breathing. All the great gates of the senses, which lead to the outside world, have not yet completely closed. And your brain, which is still running at high speed, so full of various, scattered thoughts, has not yet truly quieted down. It is like an incredibly faithful, but also, somewhat overly diligent, gatekeeper. It is still vigilantly receiving all the signals from the outside world. It is also still trying its best to process all those problems from the daytime that have not yet been fully resolved. It is worrying about your work for tomorrow. It is replaying an unpleasant conversation you had with someone today. It is also planning for a distant future, a future so full of various possibilities. And all these scattered thoughts, like a buzzing swarm of bees, are the final barrier, that which is preventing you from entering the great gate of a sweet, deep sleep. Now, it is time to let another, more ancient, and more filled with inner wisdom, gatekeeper, take over. You feel that in your brain, a small, yet incredibly important, biological clock, known as the suprachiasmatic nucleus, is sending a clear, undeniable signal to your entire body. The night is deep. It is time to rest. And then, the secretion levels of the neurotransmitters in your body, which are responsible for keeping us awake and alert, such as norepinephrine and serotonin, begin to slowly decline. You feel that your attention, which is always vigilantly scanning the surrounding environment, begins to become a little scattered. And at the same time, another, more powerful, magical chemical substance, one that is responsible for making us relax and enter sleep, begins to be secreted in large quantities in your brain. It is the famous GABA, gamma-aminobutyric acid. In our dreamscape, it is not a cold, chemical term. It is a wise, gentle, and incredibly powerful hypnotist. You feel its powerful, calming energy, like a warm, serene, blue ink, slowly spreading from the deepest part of your brain. Wherever it goes, all those aggressive neurons, which have been in a state of high excitement during the day, gradually calm down. Their unending, anxious, rapid conversations also begin to become slower and quieter. Finally, your entire cerebral cortex, which is responsible for logical thinking and reason, under the nourishment of this gentle, blue ink, enters a wondrous, trance-like state, halfway between dream and wakefulness. And then, this gentle hypnotist begins to slowly close for us the 5 great gates of the senses, which are still receiving information from the outside world. First, is hearing. You feel that the distant sounds from the outside world are, bit by bit, becoming more distant. The ticking of the clock seems to be coming from a deeper, water-filled world. The hustle and bustle of the city outside your window also seems to be gently wrapped in a thick, soundproof quilt. And then, is sight. Your 2 eyeballs, which have also worked so hard all day, beneath your already closed eyelids, have also finally stopped their unconscious, rapid movements. They are just quietly resting in their dark, warm eye sockets, enjoying a rare moment of repose. Next, are smell, taste, and touch. All these bridges, which connect us tightly to this complex, information-filled, external, material world, under the guidance of this wise, gatekeeper of the brain, are being slowly closed, one by one. Now, you have safely entered your own, vast, deep, and infinitely possible, inner universe. You are floating on a wondrous boundary, known as the first stage of sleep. Here, your consciousness is fluid, is blurred, and is also full of poetry. You might feel your body very, very gently falling downward. You might also suddenly hear someone calling your name in a voice that is incredibly familiar. You might also see some fleeting illusions, like a kaleidoscope, so full of strange, geometric patterns. All of these are the final, imaginative warm-ups that your brain is conducting for your long, deep sleep journey that is about to come. And then, you enter the second stage of sleep. Here, your heartbeat and breathing will become more stable. Your body temperature will also drop slightly. And your brain's neurons, which are still occasionally conducting random, sporadic electrical discharges, will suddenly burst forth with a short, yet very intense, high-speed brainwave activity, known as sleep spindles. In our dreamscape, it is as if this diligent gatekeeper of the brain is conducting a final, ritualistic, clearing of the venue, just before the last gate that leads to deeper sleep is about to open. It is, with this powerful, instantaneous burst of energy, ensuring that all the irrelevant loiterers, who might disturb your more important, deep restorative work that is to come, are completely cleared out. When this brief, sacred clearing is over, the heaviest, and most mysterious, gate, that leads to deep sleep finally, slowly, opens for you. Now, just allow your consciousness to rest in this unique tranquility, belonging to the gatekeeper of the brain, a tranquility so full of mysterious, physiological, chemical changes. Feel how that gentle, blue hypnotic energy, named GABA, slowly calms all the anxious, scattered thoughts in your cerebral cortex. Feel the absolute sense of security, of being isolated from the world, as the 5 sensory gates to the outside world are slowly closed, one by one. And also feel that unique, inner peace, so full of anticipation and trust, just before you are about to enter that deepest, most healing, deep sleep. The unique, reassuring tranquility, brought by a wise gatekeeper of the brain, a tranquility so absolute and safe, continues to flow gently within your consciousness. You have safely arrived at the second stage of sleep. You are floating on the final threshold, the threshold that leads to a deeper, and more healing, deep sleep. Now, you feel your brain beginning to engage in a new, and more, constructive, work. During the day, the area of your brain responsible for receiving and initially processing information, the hippocampus, like an incredibly diligent, never-resting messenger, has received for you tens of thousands of new pieces of information from the outside world. There is a new skill you learned at work today. There is an interesting piece of gossip you heard in a conversation with a friend. There is a major event that happened in a distant country, which you saw in the news. And there is also the enticing aroma, drifting from a new bakery you had never noticed before, a scent you smelled on your way home. All this new information, whether important or trivial, is temporarily stored in this small, temporary, reception room of your brain. And now, when night has fallen, when you have cut off all connections with the outside world, another, wiser, and more far-sighted archivist begins its quiet, important, nightly organizing work. It is going to take all this disorganized information that you receive during the day and conduct a thorough screening and filing. In our dreamscape, this is not a cold, data processing task. It is more of a quiet, ritualistic, gardening work. You have become a silent, wise gardener. You have come to your own, great garden of memory, a garden so full of all kinds of information. This garden is so vast. In it grows everything you have experienced in the past day. You see some flowers, like buds waiting to bloom, so full of infinite potential. That is the new knowledge and new skills you learned at work today, which are crucial for your future development. You also see some fruits, as ripe and sweet as can be. That is the happy memories, so full of love and warmth, that you felt in your interactions with your family today. But at the same time, you also see many useless weeds, growing wildly, which will compete with those beautiful flowers and bountiful fruits for nutrients. Perhaps it is the countless, irrelevant, and noisy information streams you saw on social media. Or perhaps it is the meaningless gossip and complaints you heard in a casual chat with a colleague. And your job, as this wise gardener, for tonight, is to conduct a thorough, quiet pruning and tidying of this overgrown, slightly chaotic garden of information. You come to those important new knowledge, which are like buds waiting to bloom. You, with your warm water of memory, so full of sacred energy, carefully water them. You can feel their roots, under your nourishment, becoming stronger and more stable. This important information is being slowly transferred from the hippocampus in your brain, which is responsible for short-term memory, to the deeper soil of the cerebral cortex, which is vaster, more stable, and responsible for long-term memory. They will become a new, organic part of your personality and wisdom. And then, you come to those happy memories, which are like ripe fruits. You do not change them. You just, with your gentle gaze, so full of love and gratitude, quietly gaze at them. You, once again, savor their unique, sweet fragrance. This process of savoring is, in itself, a most profound consolidation. Finally, you come to those wildly growing, useless weeds. You reach out your equally wise, rational hand. And then, very, very gently, you pull them up, by the roots, from the soil of your memory. You will not have any attachment to them. Because you know that their disappearance is to allow those more important flowers and fruits to receive more abundant sunlight and nutrients. This process of quietly pruning and tidying our garden of memory at night is so incredibly crucial for every one of us, for every modern person who wants to continuously learn and grow. Every one of us has perhaps had this experience. When you, after pulling an all-nighter to cram for an important exam, walk into the examination hall the next day, you find that your mind is a blank. All the knowledge points that you forced yourself to memorize last night seem to have disappeared. That is because you did not give this wise gardener of yours enough time to conduct this sacred, memory-consolidating work for you. And on the contrary, if you can ensure a sufficient, high-quality sleep, you will miraculously find that all the seemingly disorganized knowledge points that you learned during the day have, upon waking the next morning, been clearly categorized and organized into a neat, knowledge system, by your brain, a system that you can easily access at any time. This is the most active and most indispensable, great role that sleep, this seemingly most passive, rest, plays in our learning and growth. Now, just allow your consciousness to rest in this unique, creative, and organizing tranquility, belonging to the garden of memory. Feel that unique flow experience, so full of focus and control, as you, a wise, silent gardener, quietly prune your own inner spiritual garden in the silence of the night. Feel that your most important knowledge and memories are being watered by your warm water of memory, becoming more stable and clearer. And also feel that great lightness and cleanliness of relief, as the useless, noisy information is being gently uprooted from your precious, inner soil. The unique tranquility, brought by a quiet, inner gardening work, a tranquility so full of order and clarity, continues to flow gently within your consciousness. You feel your inner world becoming more and more tidy, and more orderly. But what our body and our brain have accumulated after a full day of high-speed operation is not just those intangible memories, so full of various information. It has also accumulated a lot of tangible garbage that needs to be cleaned up in time. Imagine your brain is a huge, bustling city that never stops. During the day, the hundreds of billions of diligent citizens in this city, that is, your neurons, are engaged in extremely high-intensity metabolic work to maintain your complex thoughts, deep emotions, and all your fine motor activities. And this high-speed metabolic process will inevitably produce a large number of byproducts. Some metabolic wastes that are harmful to our body and need to be cleaned up in time. For example, a viscous protein called beta amyloid, which is like the industrial waste of the city. During the day, when your brain, this city, is at its busiest peak, the sanitation system responsible for cleaning up this waste cannot work efficiently. And so, this sticky, harmful garbage will accumulate, bit by bit, in the important gaps between the connections of the precious neurons in your brain. If this garbage cannot be cleaned out in time, it will slowly clog all the roads in this city that are responsible for transmitting information, eventually leading to the various terrible diseases related to the decline of brain function that we are familiar with. And sleep, especially the deep sleep that we are about to enter, is the most perfect, sacred window period that our brain, this wisest city manager, has designed for us to conduct a thorough citywide cleanup. Now, you have finally passed through the first and second stages of sleep. You have entered the third stage, the deepest and most healing stage, known as slow-wave sleep. You can feel that all the neurons in your brain have entered a state of unprecedented, highly synchronized, collective hibernation. Their unending, complex, high-frequency conversations, which have been going on all day, so full of various information, have now completely quieted down. In its place is a very, very slow, immense, powerful, collective pulsation, like a quiet ocean, breathing deeply and rhythmically. And in this precious window period, when your entire brain city has entered this sacred, collective silence, another, equally sacred and great, cleaning work begins. You feel a magical, cleaning system of the brain, known as the lymphatic system, being completely activated. In our dreamscape, this is not a cold, biological term. This is more of a quiet, ritualistic, midnight, great cleanup, happening in the deepest part of your soul. You have become a silent cleaner, dressed in a clean, white robe, like an angel. You have come to the deepest part of your brain, this quiet, great city. You see that the streets between the neurons, which were so busy during the day, are now completely empty. And then, you open a great, invisible, sluice gate. A clear, powerful stream of cerebrospinal fluid, so full of purifying power, like a quiet, great, midnight flood, instantly rushes into this sleeping city. This powerful, clear tide flows through every smallest, most remote alley in this city. It gently, yet incredibly powerfully, washes away all the sticky, harmful, beta-amyloid garbage that has accumulated during the day, from the gaps between those precious neurons. You can feel your brain undergoing an unprecedented, most thorough, and most satisfying cleansing. Just like when you soak a white shirt, which has been stained with various stains and sweat during the day, in a basin of warm, clean water, filled with fresh, clean soap suds. You watch as the gray, turbid stains are being peeled off, dissolved, bit by bit, from the fibers of the clean, white fabric. You feel an unparalleled, purifying joy. This cleaning process is so efficient, so thorough. It is not just cleaning up the tangible, metabolic waste for you. It is more like it is conducting a deeper, great house cleaning of the soul for you. It is washing away all the negative, emotional energy that you have been stained with during the day. The unreasonable accusations from your boss. The nameless frustration in your heart during a traffic jam. The sad and powerless news you saw in the news. All these things, like sticky, spiritual sludge, are being completely purified and carried away in this great, quiet cleansing of deep sleep. Now, you can feel that your inner universe is so clean, so clear, so full of a new, serene order, like a clear sky after the rain. This is another incredibly precious, sacred gift that deep sleep brings to us. It is not just consolidating memories for us. It is, even more so, conducting a most thorough, and most essential, repair and maintenance for our great brain, which has worked so hard all day. It is preparing the cleanest, most orderly, and most efficient workbench for our new consciousness, which will reawaken the next morning. Now, just allow your consciousness to rest in this unique tranquility, belonging to the laundry room of the soul, a tranquility so full of the joy of purification. Feel that unparalleled freshness of being completely cleansed and purified, as streams of clear, powerful, cerebrospinal fluid, like a quiet, midnight flood, are washing every smallest corner of your brain. Feel that great lightness of relief, as all the tangible and intangible garbage and negative energy you have accumulated during the day are being gently carried away in this great, sacred house cleaning. And also feel the new order and harmony of your inner universe, which has been thoroughly cleansed and repaired, a new order so full of serenity, like a clear sky after the rain. The Theater of Dreams. REM. English version. The unique tranquility, brought by a thorough, inner house cleaning, a tranquility so full of cleanliness and rebirth, continues to flow gently within your consciousness. You are in the deepest, most healing, slow-wave sleep. Now, you feel your brain beginning to undergo a new, more vibrant transformation. Your neurons, which had been in a state of highly synchronized, slow, collective hibernation during the previous deep sleep, at this moment, seem to have heard a silent call from another dimension. They begin to awaken. Their electrical activity starts to become faster and more desynchronized. Finally, when you enter this new stage of sleep, the electrical activity of your brain becomes almost identical to when you are fully awake. But your body remains in a state of the deepest, almost completely paralyzed relaxation. This is the most mysterious, and most contradictory, rapid eye movement, REM, sleep stage. And this is also the main stage where our most vivid, most bizarre, and most memorable dreams occur. Now, allow your consciousness, like a distinguished guest holding a precious, unique ticket, to walk into a great, magnificent theater that is open only for you. You see the great, deep red, heavy velvet curtain, hanging quietly before you. You do not know what kind of play will be performed behind this great curtain. Is it a comedy, or a tragedy? A romantic love story, or a suspenseful thriller? The only thing you know is that the one and only director of this upcoming play is your own subconscious, which is full of wisdom, and also full of ancient, irrational impulses that we cannot understand. And you are the one and only audience of this play. You find the most comfortable seat in the center of the theater and sit down. And then, the great, deep red curtain, in a silent, anticipatory ceremony, slowly parts to the sides. A unique, surrealistic dream play, belonging only to you, begins. You see some scenes that are incredibly familiar to you. Perhaps it is the small, old house you lived in as a child, a house so full of sunshine and the scent of green grass. Or perhaps it is the cold office, so full of various modern office equipment, that you just left this morning. You also see some characters who are incredibly familiar to you. There is your dear grandmother, who has long since passed away, but still lives in your deepest memories. Her face still wears that familiar, warm smile, so full of kindness and love. There is also your demanding boss, who always gives you a headache in real life. He is still wearing that neat, impeccable suit. But all these familiar scenes and characters, under the imaginative direction of your great, surrealist, subconscious director, are reassembled in a completely illogical, bizarre, yet wonderfully poetic way. You see your grandmother, happily swinging on a swing in your futuristic, cold office. You see your demanding boss, in your warm, small room from your childhood, trying his best to stuff a huge, completely out-of-place elephant into a small refrigerator. You, as the sole audience of this play, do not feel any confusion. Nor do you try to use your powerful reason, which has always dominated you during the day, to analyze the so-called rational logic behind all of this. You are just like a curious child, walking into a movie theater for the first time, completely relaxed, surrendering yourself to this bizarre, imaginative, visual feast, so carefully orchestrated for you by your subconscious. You feel a pure, non-judgmental pleasure, a pleasure of watching itself. So, why does our great, subconscious director stage such a seemingly absurd play for us at night? Is it really meaningless? For thousands of years, we humans have had various different interpretations of dreams. The ancient Egyptians believed that dreams were revelations from the gods. The ancient Greeks believed that dreams were the real journeys of our immortal souls, which temporarily leave our bodies at night to travel to another dimensional world. And our great, modern pioneers of psychology, such as Freud and Jung, have provided us with a deeper, more scientific and humanistic perspective. They believe that dreams are not random, meaningless, neural firings. Dreams have their own language. A unique, nonlinear language of the subconscious, one so full of symbols and metaphors. And one of the most important purposes for which our great director stages this play for us at night is to help us to process and integrate all the complex, and sometimes even contradictory, emotions that we have experienced during the day. Yes, emotions. All those real emotions that have been deliberately suppressed, ignored, or denied by our powerful, rational self during the day. They have not disappeared. They have just been hidden by us in the deepest basement of our consciousness. And when night comes, when our rational gatekeeper has also fallen into a deep sleep, these suppressed emotions will, in a disguised, symbolic, and dramatic way, reappear on our inner, spiritual, stage. They long to be seen by us. They long to be heard by us. They also long to be understood and embraced by us. This is another incredibly precious, sacred gift that dreams bring to us. It is a secret, miraculous, royal road that leads to our own deeper, more real, inner universe. Now, just allow your consciousness to rest in this great, surrealistic theater of dreams, which is open only for you. Feel the unique, visual spectacle, so full of infinite imagination and creativity, directed by your own subconscious. Feel that childlike, curious pleasure of simply experiencing and watching, of being able to temporarily let go of all rational, logical analysis. And also feel that most sincere, most gentle call from your deepest inner self, a call that is hidden behind all the seemingly absurd, illogical plots, a call that longs to be understood and embraced by you. That unique, dreamlike serenity, so full of fantastical colors and infinite possibilities, continues to flow gently within your consciousness. You, as the sole audience of that great theater of dreams, are quietly enjoying the bizarre, surrealistic plays, so carefully orchestrated for you by your subconscious. You are enjoying it immensely. However, not all dreams are so full of fun. Sometimes, your great, unconventional, subconscious director will also stage some plays for you that seem to be full of terror and anxiety. That is what we know as a nightmare. Now, you feel that the lights in this magnificent theater where you are quietly changing. The warm, soft, golden light gradually becomes dim and cold. You feel a strange, unsettling chill slowly rising up your spine. And then, you see the stage curtain parting once more. This time, what you see is not the bright scenes, so full of childlike fun and whimsical ideas. You see a boundless, thick darkness that cannot be dissolved. You also hear a low, dull growl, like that of some great beast, coming from the deepest part of that darkness. And then, you see a pair of great eyes, shining with a blood-red light, slowly opening in that boundless darkness. It has found you. And then, it begins to chase you. You begin to run frantically. You want to escape this dark stage, so full of fear. You also want to wake up immediately from this terrible nightmare. But you find that your legs have become incredibly heavy, as if filled with lead. You also find that no matter how desperately you run, the distance between you and that great, terrifying monster that is constantly approaching behind you is, bit by bit, closing. You can smell its primal, wild, bloody scent. You can hear its great, heavy footsteps, and its threatening, heavy breathing. Finally, you are forced to the edge of a cliff, with no way to escape. Behind you is a bottomless abyss. And before you is that great, terrifying monster that is about to devour you. Now, it is time to make a new choice. A choice that is completely different from the choices you have made in all the similar nightmares of the past. This time, you no longer run away. You take a deep breath. And then, you slowly turn around and bravely face that monster that makes you feel so afraid. However, when you truly see its face, you are surprised to find that it is not a real monster from the outside world that you do not know. On its face are your own most familiar features. It is you. It is your own dark side, which has been deliberately suppressed, ignored, and denied by your powerful, rational, and perfection-seeking moral judge during the day. It is that shadow, so full of various primal, powerful, instinctual impulses, which are not accepted by our civilized society, a shadow that has been deeply buried in the darkest basement of your subconscious. It is your great anger, born from being treated unfairly at work. It is your deep fear, born from the fear of losing the people you love. It is also your shame, so full of self-attack, born from seeing your own imperfections. All these negative, emotional energies, which have been denied by you during the day, they have not disappeared. They have just been suppressed by you. And the more they are suppressed by you, the more powerful the energy they accumulate becomes. Finally, at night, when your rational gatekeeper has also fallen into a deep sleep, they will reappear on your inner, spiritual stage in this aggressive, seemingly hideous form of a monster. They are, in this seemingly extreme way, sending you the strongest, and also the most sincere, cry. They long to be seen by you. They long to be heard by you. They also long to be understood and embraced by you. Now, you finally understand all of this. You look at this monster before you, a monster that looks exactly like you. You no longer feel fear. Your heart is only filled with a great, compassionate sympathy and acceptance for our own imperfect, yet incredibly real, humanity. You slowly open your arms to your shadow. You are, with your body language, silently telling it. Yes, I see you. I know that you are me. You are an inseparable part of me. I no longer deny you. I no longer judge you. I am just here. I am willing to listen to all your suppressed anger and sorrow. You see that the great, ferocious monster, after feeling this energy of your unconditional acceptance and love, its great, aggressive body begins to slowly become smaller and more transparent. Finally, it transforms into a small, weeping, wounded inner child. You walk forward. You take this fragile, inner child, who is also you, and you hold him deeply in your arms. You feel his cold body, a body so cold from long-term suppression and not being seen, being melted, bit by bit, in your warm embrace, so full of love and acceptance. Now, just allow your consciousness to rest in this unique tranquility of meeting your shadow, a tranquility so full of deep self-healing. Feel the great, inner strength that comes after you finally have the courage to turn around and face the deepest fears in your heart. Feel the profound self-reconciliation, so full of compassion and wisdom, when you choose to face your own imperfect, dark side with an embrace instead of confrontation. And also feel the silent joy of relief and gratitude from your inner child, who has been taken back into your embrace, the joy of finally being seen, understood, and accepted. The unique tranquility, brought by a great, inner reconciliation, a tranquility so full of wholeness and healing, continues to flow gently within your consciousness. You feel that you are complete, that you are wholly accepted. Now, the deep red, velvet curtain of that great theater of dreams, which has been performing bizarre plays for you all night, slowly parts once more. This time, what you see is not any specific scene from your real life. You see a vast, boundless, azure sky. You feel yourself standing alone at the very peak of a high mountain. Beneath your feet is a soft, white sea of clouds. Around you is the clear, crisp, thin air of the high altitude. And then, you have a thought. A very, very simple, childlike, naive thought. I want to fly. And so, you fly. You do not, like a bird, laboriously flap your wings. Nor do you use any external tools. You just make this small wish in your heart. And then, your dream body, which has long been freed from all the constraints of physical laws, very, very gently, begins to float upward from that solid mountain peak. You feel that the heavy gravity, which has always held you firmly to the earth, has, in this moment, completely lost its effect. You feel an unprecedented, ultimate lightness. Your body, like a great balloon filled with warm hydrogen, slowly, gently, rises higher and higher. You pass through the soft, ocean-like layers of clouds. You have arrived in a vaster, freer, azure sky that belongs only to you. You begin to fly forward. You spread your arms, like a great, free albatross. You can feel the powerful currents of the upper air, gently, yet incredibly forcefully, holding you up. You are so safe. You are so free. You can go anywhere you want to go. You look down and gaze upon the magnificent world below you, a world that has become so small in your eyes, like a great sandbox model. You see the majestic, rolling mountain ranges, like the spine of the earth. You see the winding, torrential rivers, like blue blood vessels. You see the quiet lakes, dotted across the vast land, like green jewels. You fly over a great, primeval forest. You see the boundless, green ocean, composed of billions of different trees. You also fly over a real, great, blue ocean. You see the great whales, like deep, moving islands, spouting great plumes of water in the deep sea. You also fly over the great cities of humanity. You see, at night, the flowing river of light, composed of tens of thousands of warm lights, like a galaxy on the ground. This is an unparalleled, peak experience. An ultimate feeling of freedom and control, one that can only be experienced in the deepest of dreams. You are the sole king of this world. You are the absolute master of your own inner universe. And so you fly, and you soar, to your heart's content, in your own, vast, inner sky. You enjoy this great, quiet, powerful, absolute freedom that belongs only to you. And then, you feel that the powerful air current that has been holding you up so forcefully begins to undergo a subtle change. It is getting weaker, and weaker. And your body, which has been gliding forward so steadily, also begins to slowly, gently, fall downward. At first, it is just a very gentle, beautiful, sinking, like a feather floating slowly down in the air. There is no fear in your heart. You even, somewhat, enjoy this new, wondrous experience, so full of a sense of weightlessness, an experience completely different from the flight before. But your speed of descent is getting faster and faster. The earth below you, which once seemed so small, like a sandbox model, is now approaching you at an unsettling speed. You can feel the cold, high-speed air, whistling past your ears. The primal fear of losing control and falling, a fear that is innate to all mortals, begins to quietly awaken in your heart. You begin to, like a real person falling from a great height, flail your arms in mid-air, trying in vain to grab onto something. But there is nothing around you. You are inevitably going to crash into the hard, cold, merciless earth. And in the very instant that you are about to be completely devoured by this immense, primal fear, you hear a voice again, a voice from the deepest part of your own heart, a voice so full of wisdom. That voice of your subconscious, with which we have just, in the last chapter, reconciled. It is gently saying to you, let go. Do not resist anymore. Trust the fall. Surrender to this great, downward force. You are safe. You will be gently caught. And so, you obey this wise guidance from your deepest inner self. You stop all your futile struggles. In mid-air, you slowly close your eyes. You open your arms, as if to welcome the warmest, deepest embrace. You entrust your entire body and soul completely to this great, downward fall, which seems so full of destructive power. And then, a miracle happens. You do not crash into the hard, cold earth. You feel your body passing through a place that is incredibly soft, warm, like a cloud. And then, you feel yourself being completely enveloped and supported by a vaster, gentler, great liquid. You open your eyes. You find yourself floating in a boundless, warm ocean, one that is radiating a soft, blue-green light. This is the original womb of all life. This is also the final home of all consciousness. You have returned to the cosmic amniotic fluid, so full of unconditional love and absolute safety. You are floating here. You feel an eternal peace, one that is deeper and greater, a peace so full of surrender and trust, a peace that can only be obtained after you have completely let go of all the powerful desire for control that belongs to the self. Now, just allow your consciousness to rest in this tranquility, so full of deep, symbolic meaning, a tranquility of flying and falling. Feel that peak experience, so full of power and control, of being freed from all physical constraints and worldly troubles, as you fly freely in your dreams. And also feel that frightening, yet strangely, wonderfully thrilling sensation of weightlessness and loss of control as you fall from a great height. And more importantly, feel that absolute safety and peace of being gently caught by a vaster, more compassionate, warm ocean, when you finally choose to surrender instead of fight. That unique, dreamlike serenity, so full of control and the understanding of surrender, continues to flow gently within your consciousness. You are floating in that boundless, warm, amniotic fluid of the cosmos, which radiates a soft, blue-green light. You feel an absolute safety and peace. And so you float, and you rest, in this warm, quiet ocean. You do not know how long has passed. Perhaps it was an instant. Or perhaps it was an entire eternity. You feel a new, gentle, upward force, gently lifting you from behind. Your dream body, which has long since become incredibly light, begins to slowly float upward. You pass through the deep, warm ocean, so full of mysterious, blue-green light. You pass through the soft, white layers of clouds, which are like the quilt on your bed. And then, you return to your own familiar, quiet bedroom. You return to your own familiar, warm body, a body that has been thoroughly repaired and nourished after a long night of deep, high-quality sleep. You feel your consciousness having a new, joyful reunion with your body. You have not yet opened your eyes. But you can already hear. You can hear the first, most crisp, and most beautiful birdsong of the morning, coming in through the gap in your not fully drawn curtains. It is a hymn of the dawn, so full of praise for a new, hopeful day. You can also smell. You smell the newborn fragrance, also from outside your window, a mixture of the fresh scent of the morning grass and the clean smell of the damp earth. You can also feel. You feel the first, golden, warm sunlight from outside your window, passing through the glass of your room, and gently shining on your face, on your eyelids. You feel the reassuring warmth. You also feel the soft light, which, though it is behind your eyelids, can still be clearly perceived. All these gentle, benevolent signals from the outside world are silently sending you, this sleeping traveler, who is also so full of inner serenity and peace, a most gentle invitation. It is time, they say. It is time to awaken. And so, you slowly open your eyes. You see your familiar bedroom, completely illuminated by the golden, warm morning light. You take a deep breath. A fresh stream of air, so full of oxygen and life energy, instantly fills your entire chest. You feel so awake. So vibrant. So refreshed. Your body, which was so tired last night from a full day's work, is now filled with a new, powerful strength, a strength that can easily cope with any challenge. And your brain, which was also troubled by all sorts of scattered thoughts and unresolved anxieties last night, is now incredibly clear and serene. You know that for all of this, you must thank our great journey of sleep, a journey of exploration and healing, that we took all last night. You must thank your faithful partner, your body, for sending you the most honest request for rest at dusk. You must thank the wise gatekeeper of your brain, for slowly closing all the disturbing sensory gates to the outside world for you. You must thank your diligent, inner gardener and cleaner, for quietly pruning your garden of memory and conducting a thorough cleaning of your soul in your deep sleep. And even more so, you must thank your great, subconscious director, so full of infinite imagination and profound wisdom, for staging, in your theater of dreams, one great play after another, plays that are designed to help you to better understand and embrace a more complete, more real version of yourself. Now, you have a new, and more grateful and awe-filled answer of your own to the two ancient, philosophical questions of why do we sleep, and what are dreams? And now, our grand, inner epic journey of sleep and dreams has also finally reached its ultimate destination. Let all the distant stories, so full of scientific exploration and poetic imagination, that we have experienced together, gradually settle, becoming a quiet and warm foundation deep within your heart. You feel safe, you feel understood, and you also feel a final, complete, wholeness, one that comes after you have achieved a great reconciliation with all the different parts of your body and your mind. In this final, complete, and luminous peace, brought by a perfect, healing sleep, allow your body and your mind to receive the most perfect, the most final, the most eternal repose. Good morning, my dear friend. Our journey is now complete. It is time, now, to greet this new day, a day so full of infinite possibilities, with your new, energetic body and mind.